Hi, everybody. Ooh, I like your glasses. That's very festive.
It's for the holiday.
It's for our 4th of July spectacular. I got my Bucky shirt. That's all I can
These are
find.
fireworks.
I was going to play a video of fireworks, and I ran out of time. And I'm also noticing I did not put lipstick on, but that's okay. Nobody cares.
I didn't either.
All right. Welcome to our special 4th of July spectacular for our 4th episode. Get it? Episode 4. 4th of July.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as promised, we're doing a longer episode today.
A little bit longer.
5 movies since we were out of town and we did not get a chance to go see some movies when we were out of town last week. And it was promised in our airport show. We said we'd do 5 of them, so we're going to do 5 today.
Yes. Okay. Let us
I don't know if I can wear these the whole show, though. This glass is a little bit weird.
Are they annoying you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Anyway.
So let's get started with a couple of movies that we watched. I want to talk about this movie right here. Sharks! Sharks!
Is it Sharknado?
No. Well, although that
Sharknado
is a really
4 is
good
coming
movie.
out.
Is it really? There's a 4th?
Yeah. It's called The Fourth Awakens.
Okay, now we're going to talk about The Shallows.
Dual glasses.
Oh, wow. That was an awesome
It's like
movie.
magic.
Magic? Like
Anyway,
magic.
yes, our first one up is The Shallows, which actually came out last week. But again, we weren't here. We were swimming in the shallows.
I almost drowned because I don't swim.
You almost drowned.
I almost drowned. Well, and there was this nice man that's like, "Come on, I'll drag you out there," which even scared me more.
And he didn't say that at all because he was Dominican and didn't speak English.
Yes, that's true. So that kind of happened.
Anywho.
All right, continue.
For anybody that doesn't know what The Shallows is, it's almost like Jaws meets Castaway. It's a shark movie. That's not really a spoiler. I mean, it's in the trailer that there's a shark swimming around and it's a chick fighting for her life. Mrs. Ryan Reynolds herself, Blake Lively.
Yes.
I believe they're still married.
I think they are.
As far as I know, they're still married.
She likes him. So what do you know?
So anyway.
Okay. So I really liked it. I thought it was very good. I'm going to hold my shark while I'm talking about it. I liked
both have
it.
a shark.
Yes, I
My shark's
enjoyed
fin's
it.
messed up.
That's why I gave you that one. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought, you know what? I was concerned. Yeah, I always get concerned when there's those movies where there's only one person, like, throughout the whole thing. But she actually did a really good job, and I wasn't, like, bored or, like, oh, get this lady off the screen. I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
That's one thing I did like.
It was good. It was... The problem is there's so many shark movies that come out, and most of them suck. You know, Jaws was, like, one of the few that really captured that something and scared people when it came out, because it was different in the time, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And it holds up well, but most shark movies that come out, they're either cheesy like Sharknadoes or you know, the Mega Shark and all the whatever they are from Sci-Fi Channel. But this one, I was surprised. It is a little cheesy at times, but it actually still works. It's actually, no, it is. There's a couple of moments, and actually one of the moments are in the trailer. So I'm not going to tell you what it was, so if you want to see it, watch the trailer. But it's one of the shark sequences that you see, and that's what had me concerned when I saw it in the trailer. I'm like, oh, the shark looks a little cheesy and kind of lame. But in reality, they did some clever stuff with it. The problem with the movie isn't even in the shark or Blake Lively.
Myself, sorry.
You're the only person
at myself.
It isn't Blake Lively or the shark itself or even the story, which works.
Yeah.
There's a scene at the beginning that makes no sense. It's one of those flash forward scenes, so it's not spoiling anything.
Yeah.
So it's one of those that, you know, they show a scene and then the movie catches up to that scene later.
Yeah.
But usually when you do that, something happens. You know, it's for a reason, and this didn't have a reason. So it almost like it gives some of the movie away without purpose. And then I thought the same thing at the very end. There's a perfect ending scene that's a beautiful shot, some good dialogue. It kind of encompasses everything that's happened.
Yeah, it feels like the movie ended.
But then they jump to another sequence, almost like they said, hey, we want to put this little extra cap on for no apparent reason.
It was not necessary, so they should have ended about 5 minutes sooner.
Yeah.
And it would have been great.
If you had cut off the first few minutes, I believe my friend and One of the people I did with screening is Scott Jackson. He gave me perfect advice that I thought was strange when he told me, but he was actually right. He's like, just skip the first 5 minutes. That's technically right. You skip the first 5 minutes of that stupid sequence.
And skip like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great movie.
But yeah, other than that, it was good. It
was really good. I liked it. I would watch it again.
There's the shark stuff is really good. It's actually pretty believable for the majority of the movie. You know, it gets to the end, into the main action stuff, it gets a little bit but you buy into it at that point and just have fun and let it happen. It's not scary, I didn't think, at all, even though some people are saying it's really creepy.
It was creepy. I mean, and the shark jumped at you a little bit.
I didn't see any kind of fear in it at all, but that's fun, I guess.
There were sharks going like this.
That's exactly what happened. She was sitting there, and
this big.
The shark bit her on the neck and nowhere else.
Okay, well, fine. Uh-oh. What is this phone telling me? Okay, sorry. Hi.
Anyway.
Okay,
so that's all. There's not a lot to say about that movie because that's one you kind of have to see because there's not...
Well, I think it's your typical shark movie.
Yeah, it's a typical shark movie.
It's no Sharknado.
It does stand out better than a lot of them, and it's very much Jaws-ish, you know, with its tone, but it's one that you kind of just have to see it, and I think it's going to be one you either like it or you don't like it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, moving on to...
Tarzan. This is for you. This was
Legend of Tarzan.
The Legend of Tarzan. Don't get it confused. This was a movie made for Bobby.
Yeah, I'm like a huge Tarzan fan. I grew up on him like a lot of us did with Johnny Weissmuller and it's been so long since I've watched it. I don't know how well it holds up. The whole Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes, I think is the entire title, with Christopher Lambert, whatever he goes by. But I was excited to hear they're making a Tarzan movie. But the problem is they never make a good Tarzan movie. And it's usually because I don't know why Hollywood wants to take Tarzan out of the jungle and put him in a house with clothes on. He needs to be out with his apes. That's why he's called Lord of the Apes. And he's swinging. All the iconic stuff of Tarzan is swinging through the vines of the jungle, being with the gorillas, talking to the animals or communicating with them. And everybody wants to put him in a castle sipping tea with a pair of short pants on. It makes no sense. So I had a little hesitation going into this movie because I was afraid that was going to be that all over again. Mm-hmm. And it kind of is.
I mean, there's a little bit of that, but he's in the jungle as well. So hopefully it redeemed itself.
The funniest thing about this movie is this one. First of all, we were discussing to go see it. She's like, I don't want to go see that. Go see the show. Before we decided we were going to do it for the show, she said, I don't want to see that movie. I'm not going to. You just go see that without me whenever it comes. Then she finds out that Alexander Skarsgård is playing Tarzan, who is from True Blood, if anybody doesn't know.
I did not know.
She goes, oh, he's in it? Now I want to see it. Which obviously means we all know why she now wants to see it. And I actually was surprised. I was a little concerned with him, too. I mean, he's a good actor and everything, but I wasn't sure. But he was a really good Tarzan, and Margot Robbie was a really good Jane. There's a lot of cheesy stuff around it. Christoph Waltz, who's always awesome.
Yeah, this wasn't his thing, I don't think.
He's good. Okay. He's fine in it. It's just... He's never the Christoph Waltz you get in Quentin Tarantino movies and anything else. It's like, he just doesn't work all the time. Samuel L. Jackson's in it, too. He's kind of a funny... sidekick, serves a purpose, but as a whole, the movie surprisingly worked. You know, it actually, there's some cheesiness with some of the effects and the story, and freaking Tarzan never. This is a spoiler, but not a spoiler that ruins the movie. But this is something anybody that's a fan of Tarzan needs to know before they see this. Tarzan does not wear a loincloth in this movie.
So you wanted to see him wear a loincloth?
I just want to see Tarzan look like freaking Tarzan. He was in short pants. It's like, we made a joke coming out of it. It's like, this is Tarzan on his day off from the Gap. And he had his short pants on.
Short pants.
He was wearing short pants. Okay, and that's fine.
And Bobby's like, I don't want to see him wearing capri pants.
Yeah, I don't want to see. Tarzan's a badass. He goes toe-to-toe with a gorilla. He wasn't
in this movie.
He goes toe-to-toe with a gorilla, beating the crap out of each other, and he's walking around in short pants.
Hey, ladies, it was good, because the shirt came off, and he was like, pa-pa, pa-pa-pa. And then he had the man muscle thing right here. Mm-hmm. It was a good time.
Wow.
Because there weren't no underwear on under those short pants.
There weren't no underwear.
Mm-mm. It was just him and his little Victorian pants.
Maybe he was wearing those low-cut panties, too, since he wears capri pants.
Like a thong? Man thong.
Maybe.
He was wearing a man thong.
A
Among. Did we make up a new word? I liked it. I thought it was really good. I think everyone should watch it. Go see it.
The story actually does work, and it gives you what you want for Tarzan eventually, and it's not too slow, but it is again over the top. There'll be some people I know that will step up and they'll be like, all the stuff with him swinging through the jungle and all that stuff is ridiculous and unbelievable. But I mean, it's like
Tarzan.
It's Tarzan, and if you don't get that, if you don't get that, then it's not Tarzan. Even if you want to try to put a realistic spin on it, you kind of lose that. But there's going to be some people that I'm sure will complain about that, just like, you know, people that used to complain about when the Hulk movie first came out, the first Hulk, and everybody was complaining that, oh my God, I can't believe the Hulk can jump 50 miles. Like, but he's okay that he's a 7 foot or 12-foot green man. Mm-hmm. You know, that they don't have a problem with, but he can jump. So anyway,
I have a problem with the pants, but you're not supposed to ask
we don't
about
discuss the Hulk's pants.
Okay,
it's against the
that's
law.
Fine. Anyways, but you should all go see Tarzan. Tarzan, it's really
it's
good.
Decent. It's good. But I have to tell you a story about seeing Tarzan real quick because it's funny. Well, I found it funny. It was a pain in the ass.
It was a pain in the back.
Tarzan was the last film we were able to catch up on this week. And the plan was to go last night.
Right.
So we had classes and all these different things. So we go to the theater. This one was napping as she does most of the time.
Day. I am an avid napper.
Almost all day.
I think it extends your life, and I think everyone should nap every afternoon.
It doesn't extend her life. It extends her life and shortens her days because she spends most of her days sleeping. But
no, I don't.
Anyway, not on work days. But anyway,
and then I stay up late and work.
Yes, not always. But anyway, yesterday she slept. She had this whole plan to go to this later showing at like 8:15 or something because she wanted to nap later, right?
Well, we had been out all day. What did we do yesterday?
We had 2 classes yesterday.
We had 2 classes. We were busy.
Stop whining.
I'm not whining. I'm explaining the situation for context.
She whines all the time. Anyway,
no idea.
So we go to the theater. We finally get there, and we're waiting. And there's a line. You know, you're waiting all the nonsense getting in line.
And why do they always have that one lady that is so slow?
I know the one that goes
at the busiest times.
She's like, "Hi, what movie would you like to see?" And then she looks at the screen like this.
Do you have your Stubbs card?
So anyway, so she looks at it. Sorry.
Let me check that out.
She's gonna check the dog while I finish telling this story. So she goes, gets the, we go to buy the ticket, and the lady is like, well, it's almost sold out. There's nothing but the front row left, right? So we get in there, and she's back.
We're okay. The dog has saved us from certain doom.
We don't like sitting in the front row if you don't have to.
No, because I don't want to do
So she's like, well, we're already here. Let's go see something else. So there's a movie called Swiss Army Man out with Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano that I really want to see. And she knew it. She's being nice. She goes, let's just go see the other one. So we get it, and there's like 5 people in the theater. So we're sitting up there.
No one wants to see it.
We're sitting up there. We're waiting to watch it. But before we go in, she's like, let's go sit up here and maybe we can sneak in the other one. And then no. So then we sat down. Then she's trying to ask now who's in this movie.
Yeah,
and she's all mad now, right?
What is this movie even about?
So I'm trying to be the understanding husband and saying
it's like, oh, okay, I'll watch it because of Harry Potter.
I'm saying, dear, if you don't want to do this, we don't have to stay. She's
but
like,
then
no.
You pulled it.
She's like, we don't. No, we'll stay. It's fine.
This didn't happen.
It did too.
I was like, oh, it's okay.
So anyway, she finds out what it is. Then she gets mad and she realizes she hates this guy's face. Not Daniel Radcliffe, but Paul
I love
Dano.
Harry Potter.
And so I said,
I've got a scar right here too.
So let's just go. So we leave. We go to the customer service. We exchange tickets for the 11 o'clock show. We leave to go eat. Come back. We get back. It's still a long time. So now she's like, there's a 1020 IMAX show, but I don't really want to pay for it. Let's just sneak in. So I'm like, dude, we can't just sneak in. She goes, sure, let's go see. So then we decide, hey, I'll go in and at least just see how busy it is and see if we can buy tickets. Right? So I go in, there's like nobody there. There's like 8, 9 people maybe when we first looked. So then I come in and then she's over there trying to sneak out 3D glasses out of the bin.
The used bin.
The used one when you're coming out of the theater, throwing them in the bin. And she's like, just grab some of these 3D glasses and we'll just go in. Nobody will even say anything. And so right as she's trying to cover it up, she's look how big she is. She can't reach in the bucket to grab
I couldn't
them.
reach down in the bucket.
Right?
They were too far down.
So now she's like, you come do it. And so I'm turning around, and I turn around, and the security guy's walking by.
Yeah, he's like following us.
So needless to say, we did end up going to the IMAX 3D screening, but we paid for it.
I paid like an extra $11.
Good people, because we would have been the people that got caught.
Yeah, anytime. It could be anyone else, and they would never get caught, but we would totally get caught.
Yeah, so we tried to be teenagers and do something
I'm too old.
stupid, and then realized we're too old for that crap and just bought the tickets.
So
Anyway, that was a long, drag-out story, I know, but it was funny last night. It was probably not near as funny as it
was
now,
ridiculous.
but it was a whole drama last night.
Just to see Tarzan. But the 3D, so we mentioned the 3D, so what about the 3D?
The 3D was
Nah, I don't know. I mean, I think it made the jungle seem bigger.
Yeah, it gave it more depth, but that's about it.
And then you mentioned the CG thing. The apes or they're apes technically, aren't they? Or are they gorillas? I don't want to say the wrong thing because our child will be like,
I believe gorillas are
a koala is not really a bear.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, because Mackenzie will correct us, but if I'm not mistaken, you have gorillas and you have monkeys. Like apes and monkeys is the difference.
Okay, so they're apes.
So
or
gorillas are
same
apes.
thing.
Chimpanzees I believe, are apes.
Oh, okay.
But then you get like the little
So you have to tell us what the difference is.
the
the tail.
capuchin monkeys or whatever they're called.
It's a tail, right?
I believe so. They have a tail and some don't or something like that.
Anyhow,
Anyway, it doesn't
those
matter.
didn't bother me. I thought they were real.
Well, you see, that was the effects on the apes at the beginning. I thought was a little off, but I think it's because if we hadn't had the Planet of the Apes movies, the new ones that were so amazingly real, these would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But these aren't quite as good as those initially. So, but you buy into it eventually, and they're fine. You know, the movie works. Like I said,
I liked it.
It's hit and miss. People that are hardcore Tarzan fans, I think, might like it, might not. I can see a Tarzan fan coming out of there and hating the movie.
Well, I'm a Weissmuller fan, so that's the only thing I know about Tarzan is watching it, Sunday afternoons with the family in black and white. Like, Tarzan, look, I bought Tarzan. That's all I know.
Why would anybody watch TV like that?
Because this is you sitting on the floor swinging your legs behind you.
But you look special. You're like,
Well, you tell me I look like I was a special kid.
No,
when
I did not.
Little.
I said you look like you had Down syndrome in that baby picture of yours.
We apologize to anyone who actually does suffer from Down syndrome.
Wasn't bashing people with Down syndrome.
He was bashing me that my face was all like...
That's different. In the next show, we're going to bring the picture out, and I'm going to show this picture live on the show.
Wow.
Anyway.
Thanks a lot. I can feel the love right now. Love connection.
If you're a Tarzan fan, I would say check it out.
Check it out.
But look at it as more of one of those popcorn, franchise picks that they made. It's just a big budget extravaganza thing as opposed to just instead of opposed to just like a really down and dirty good Tarzan. Because I want to see
what did you expect Tarzan to do? Just live in the jungle for 2 hours?
No, it could have been the same story without having to...
That's the thing that I think I don't like about Tarzan. It's the same thing. We're in the jungle. He learns to speak English and live in a house. Can we do something beyond this?
No, the stories of Tarzan is not that he learns to speak English and live in a house. That's when he's no longer Tarzan. That's why he goes by John Clayton or whatever his name is at that point.
I want more.
Tarzan is supposed to be in the jungle.
Save the world or something.
World
peace.
He's basically like a superhero for the jungle, protecting the jungles and the animals, and that's his purpose. That's his people. It's like it's like if you were watching some show about, and forgive me because I can't think of anybody now, but if I was like watching something about some Mexican person who fought for
Chavez.
There you go, who fights for freedom or the rights for the people or whatever, but the whole movie is like, I get mad because I'm tired of watching him protest. I wish he'd just go eat a taco.
Did he talk?
When did I want my Cesar Chavez movie where he's just eating some tacos. I'm tired of him protesting all the time.
Remember that one scene in the Cesar Chavez movie where they did bring him tacos because he was sick?
Okay, but that's the same thing as you're saying Tarzan. You're tired of him doing this. She says she wants to see Tarzan in the house all the time. She wants the Tarzan in the later years who's just living with his family and chilling.
He's like 50, hanging out.
Yeah, and I'm like, she wants like fat Tarzan who's like, that's nothing. It's like, what movie is that? It was like, I wanted to see, the Tarzan that growing up to become full, adult Tarzan and his relationship.
Cartoon.
Yeah, his relationship with the animals, and then in this one he has conflict with some of the local people, but then there's also the white man or whoever that comes out to destroy their environment or whatever that he fights against. That's always been Tarzan's thing.
I guess
Nobody wants to see Tarzan in a house wearing shorty pants drinking tea, and in the movie, he does drink tea or whatever like this.
Like this. He really does. And I was like, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Oh, there.
And I know it was supposed to try to be showing that he's evolved, and I almost think it was a moment of him mocking them.
Yeah,
when he did it.
It was a moment.
But it's still like, I don't want to see that. But I will give it credit before we move on that they do some good flashbacks, so you do get that story. They do give you a lot of the back Tarzan stuff, but such is life.
All right.
So, moving on from Tarzan, it's in. If you want to check it out, you can skip 3D if you can, but it doesn't really. It adds some depth, and there's an ostrich scene that the 3D works fun for, but beyond that, it doesn't really serve a purpose.
Oh,
where's it going like this?
Yeah. Okay, we're moving on.
That's both an imitation of how ostriches attack you in the movie and how we make out.
Wow, okay. We're going to move on now to the Independence movies. Woo!
Yeah, we have 3 movies this week that one of them opened this week. The other 2 were part of the last week thing, but they all kind of encompass the Independence ideal in some fashion.
Yes.
Not all exactly the same way.
Exactly.
So, and these are the 3 films that we probably have the most disagreements on.
Which I know this is what you guys have really been waiting for.
And it's not necessarily all bad. Some of it's just difference of opinions of why we thought this movie worked and didn't work in certain ways. Because we actually, 2 of the 3 films we both really like.
Yeah.
But we have different opinions on aspects of why we like it.
All the movies this
so,
week.
yeah, I do too, for the most part. But we'll get to that.
Okay, so we're now going to go into the Independence Day segment.
Not necessarily the Independence Day movie yet, just Independence Day.
Or celebration of independence. Here, hold the flag. Hold the flag.
She just stuck that into my crack.
There's nowhere to hold it.
This is going to be...
Do you got it? Am I hurting
you? It's all the way up in there. All right.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, babe.
Okay.
So I want to talk about...
Okay, we'll start. We're going to go further back in time.
Let's go back in time.
Because this is probably the only one that's actually really independent themed. If you want to get technical, it would be the Free State of Jones.
You got to cock my gun?
Which is Matthew McConaughey. It's got Newton Knight.
Okay.
I apologize, I forgot his name, but that's really it's Matthew McConaughey. And it's just about this guy who was a Civil War.
Based on a true story.
Loosely, yes. And we'll get into that in a minute. I'll talk about it. But it's about a guy who was in one of the Civil War soldiers. He was he on the Confederacy, I believe? Or was he on the other side?
He's in the Confederacy in the South.
Anyway, so he gets basically at some point he gets tired of all the crap, basically.
Because he realizes
it's because the people are being pillaged.
Yeah, they're not really fighting for the people. They're fighting for the rich guy and his cotton plantation.
Yeah, because it's not just there's a lot of aspects of the movie about the rising in the fight for the freedmen, which are the slaves that became free men.
He doesn't believe in slavery.
But that's actually not just the focus of the movie. The catalyst that kicks it all off is the people, the farmers, that the soldiers are coming in and taking their stuff, their crops and their land or whatever. So he stands up to fight them, and and that catalyst, because he becomes an outlaw and goes on the run.
I'm gonna have to shoot my friend Sean for asking.
You never point the gun at other people.
I'm pointing it at the phone.
I know that, but anyway, that sets the catalyst for him to be getting involved with some people that are also kind of hiding, which are the freedmen slaves before they're actually free. So they're actually escaped slaves. Which then in turn sets up this whole storyline. Right.
And I have this gun because it's more typical of the gun of that period with the double barrel. Boom.
And he does use the double barrel very often in this movie.
It's very cool.
This is one of those movies that first of all, I really, really, really like this movie. There were some issues with the movie, but it was not the story, and it wasn't so much the movie itself. It was some of the directions that the filmmakers went to try to create something that gets lost.
Okay. I have absolutely no problem with that. It was very okay. So we're in this historical movie time period piece, right? And then suddenly it does jump around to different time periods.
It flashes forward to a situation of a descendant.
To a direct descendant of the man in the movie.
And it does this 3, 4, 5 times through the movie.
So it is very striking. Like you're watching it and it's like boom, and something else happened. You're like,
yeah, because it's.
And we looked at each other. I'm
gonna tell you this again. What? This isn't a spoiler, so don't freak out when I tell you. But it's basically It's a court case. I'm not going to tell you what the court case is about, okay? But it's more of a modern-day court case. It's probably like the 50s or 60s,
Yeah,
something like that. But you have to imagine, if you're sitting there watching this movie, and you're in the middle of the Civil War or swamps with these slaves, and they're having a conversation. They've got the one slave, he's got this cage thing, which I wish they had explained, but it was very sad looking.
It's sad.
And the next thing you know, it kind of fades to black, and it fades in, and you're in a court case in kind of a modern time, and you're like...
Yeah, it's very striking.
The idea behind it, that whole
unexpected.
The whole aspect to that storyline that is there that comes back and forth numerous times, it's only about 10 or 15 minutes total.
Yeah.
And it's meant to serve the purpose of saying part of like how his things that he's did in this time periods affect the descendants in the future and in the still the same fight.
Well,
essentially.
yeah, and I kind of felt that even though we're in what 18. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Civil War time.
Yeah, Civil War.
That's irrelevant because we're not smart.
1880 something would have been that time period. Yeah, we're not smart. We don't know American history because we're Americans. We didn't really learn anything in school. It's true. Anyway, but you see that over time, history repeats itself, which we know about. We know about slavery. It started when the Spanish brought over their slaves. We had slavery here. We killed dang Indians. And then even through...
You said we killed the dang Indians?
Yeah, poor people. They weren't doing nothing. They were like...
We just killed those dang Indians.
They were like just killing some buffalo, being happy, doing their thing. And then we're like, oh, those dang Indians.
I like that you just decided that all they do all day is kill buffalo. It's like,
no,
it's going back to Tarzan, need to be back in a house and chilling out.
No.
Anyway.
But it keeps repeating. And even towards, we know history, 50s, 60s, or whatever, even though supposedly we're all equal.
Supposedly?
But supposedly.
Well, anyway.
People were not being treated equal.
Yeah, and
Anywho, so be prepared for that to happen.
It's a portion of the film that's the problem with it is I understand the purpose, but it serves no purpose to this movie. It's like, it should have been, if they were going to do it, they could have tagged it on to the very end and did one of those jumps ahead, and it shows, his, could have done like a little scroll that said, well, throughout his stuff and all he did and all you witnessed in this film, blah, blah, blah. Despite everything he fought for, he still fought for this. And they could have put that on the end if they needed to, but it has no purpose. It really does nothing to the story other than slow down the pacing of the main film.
I liked it.
And in turn, it makes you lose some of, to me personally, the effectiveness, because you're getting sucked into this story, a very important story in history, that's both depressing, it's sad, but it's also important from the standpoint of how things begin to change at that point in our world, in our country. And right as you get in there, it takes you out of it. Like, you're all invested, and then boom, you're back in this
stupid thing. I had no problem with it because I thought it did serve a purpose.
I understand its purpose. I just thought it was out of place. It didn't need to be there. And nobody in that section, it had no impact in that section because the way it was executed was so bland, it just did nothing. It just was kind of...
I don't know. I thought it was important.
It's important, but like I said,
But here's my problem, though, is when you tag things at the end, or you do the little scroll, like, 50 years later, blah, blah, people don't pay attention. They're ready to get out of the theater.
Okay, you misunderstand me. I'm not saying they just need to do the scroll. What I'm saying is
tack it on
the scroll thing would come up to set up to flash forward to that segment and keep that segment going. But in reality, that should have been taken completely out, and it didn't need to be there. It messes up the flow of the movie. It messes up the flow of the impact that film could have.
No, because we needed to know about that man and his history, which we wouldn't have known unless we're watching the current movie about what's happening with Matthew
but we didn't need to know that. We're learning
and the people in his life.
The movie is about Matthew McConaughey's character. It's not about this other guy's life.
It is. It's directly related.
It is related,
that moment,
but it is not about that.
Matthew McConaughey's relarelationship with whomever. I'm not going to tell you who or which one, but it's directly related to figuring out.
You're right. It
this
is, but it's not the same thing though.
It's a double barrel here.
You can have your double barrel. I'll take it away and beat you with it. But now on the flip side, Matthew McConaughey's amazing in the movie.
He's really good. Now I do have one question: are those his real teeth? Because they were jacked up.
I'm assuming they probably had doctored them up or whatever to make it look like the people of that time because they didn't have dentists, or they may have had dentists, but they didn't have that's when people had the wooden teeth for dentures and whatnot.
Oh, that's true.
But the other problem with that film, like the Matthew McConaughey stuff, the main
really
Free State of Jones storyline, everybody's great in the movie. It's impactful. It's a great movie. But there's another aspect of the way the film was structured. There's actually two things. One was a major one. One's a minor one, but it does kind of hurt the storytelling. There was a lot of jumps in timeline.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's why they were trying to interject that other thing in there, to use that, so that was the moment you see this other story, and then they can jump ahead. Mm-hmm. But in reality, sometimes it felt like we missed something. Like, you were going through this, you know, they were rising up, and they were fighting, and they were doing whatever, then you jump ahead, and he's working on a farm. You know, and it tells you, this is what happens, but it suddenly feels like, okay, you were fighting 5 minutes ago. What did the fighting do, other than just now you can work on your farm? You know what I mean? It lost some impact. But on the flip side, with saying that, there's another aspect that and this has got to be the director, that he started infusing, like, still photos and then text, like you're watching a documentary.
To fill in the history timeline.
Yeah, but it didn't need, they should have shot something, or they should have just put the words on the screen as he's tilling up the farm and saying this is what happened, the same way they did it, but they started injecting these photos that made it look like all of a sudden I'm going in, I'm watching a documentary film now. I'm not watching.
Yeah, that's the other thing that was very striking. So there were 3 different movies happening in that one movie.
Yeah, the movie itself is great.
It is really good. Give it a chance. Go watch it. You keep
getting sucked out of it. The pacing, like I said, if you can get past that stupid flash forward sequences,
it's not stupid.
That it is an important thing. I'm not saying it's not an important story.
We're just not agreeing on that one.
But it's useless to this movie. It should have been part 2, because the importance of that's part of the story. Mm-hmm. It does not give enough time for it to have the impact that story should have,
I guess.
And ironically enough, it takes away from the impact of the other story.
Okay.
So it is a great movie, but there's issues with that pacing stuff, so just if you can get past that and just let those kind of wash past your brain, or if you're slow like this one, you might like it.
Okay.
Moving on.
All right, moving on. So
get rid of your Civil War weapon.
Got to get rid of the Civil War weapon. Let's move to modern times. Which one do you want to talk about?
I think we're going to go ahead and move into, yeah, the next one's one of the new ones that came out this week. Which is the 3rd entry into the Purge series, which was one of those series that
I'm ready to purge.
Dear God.
What? I'm ready to purge.
Oh,
let's go kill some people.
So,
woo!
The Purge series, for anybody that's never seen it, you are missing out. It's great. The very first movie has divided a lot of people when it came out. I enjoyed it. It's more of a horror thriller thing. The whole premise is on March 22nd of every year, they instituted this thing called the annual Purge, which gives, like, was it 12 hours?
Yes.
I believe it's 12
From
hours.
7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Yeah, you get, I believe that's 12 hours that you get, and all crime is legal, with the mentality of trying to clear crime and hopefully bring the numbers of crime down and make the world safer. And supposedly it works, but
it does work, and it would work in real life. I support the Purge.
We're going to discuss it as we move forward. So anyway, what they did well with the first one was more of a horror thriller-ish, you know, where it's all Ethan Hawke, and they're in the house, and it's like one little group. Yeah, but it set up a universe that they could have made these movies forever and done a different family every time. And what they did instead is they branched it out of that house with the second movie, which is what's Purge Anarchy, where you bring in Frank Grillo, which was, I still maintain that was the best Punisher movie we've had to date.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good in this movie, too.
But this film, the third one, which is the Purge election year, which ironically enough fits in perfect with all the nonsense going on in relation to the people that are running for president. Yeah, it has a lot of social commentary in it, but it's not preachy to really ruin everything. But this latest one actually continues from the previous film. Yes. Frank Grillo's character's back.
And they're all 3 are connected.
They are connected. Edwin Hodge, who is the brother, I believe, is Aldous Hodge from Straight Outta Compton. Edwin Hodge is, and some people may or may not make this connection because they don't put it in your face. He is the black gentleman in the first film that they let in the house that the people are trying to kill.
The stranger.
Then he shows up in the second movie as part of the rebellion with, I forgot who the guy's character's name. And then now in this new one, he's back again, and he's kind of the leader of the rebellion. Right. The people in this, and when I say rebellion, it's the people rising up against the Purge. None of that's a spoiler, but in this, I did love the fact that this time he finally got a name, because he was actually always known as just a stranger. Yeah. This one, I forgot his name now. Dante, or it doesn't matter.
Bridge?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, he actually has a character name. He has more dialogue. Bishop. He has more to do. And again, this one's just about. What they've done, though, is the purpose of this one, if you really look at all the Purge movies, they had some kind of a commentary about society or a certain aspect.
Yeah, I think number 2 was really powerful, that you saw that really the Purge supposedly, the government told us it was so that to reduce crime. You have this 12-hour period, get it all out of the way, so then throughout the year, crime goes down. Part 2, we find out that really behind the scenes, the government was using it to kind of wipe out the poor and the homeless population.
Well,
because the government didn't want to have to take care of them.
In the second one, there's a throwaway line that if you don't pay attention, you'll miss why those mysterious people with the truck and the machine guns, if you've seen the movie. That's not a spoiler because there's machine guns, but there's machine guns and everything in these movies. But there's that truck that drives around that's just randomly shooting people, and you're like, who are these people? And you find out that it was basically the government.
The government itself.
Not enough people were purging.
Right.
So the government gets involved. So what they've done in this new one is it's basically, and I don't want to tell you how they do it because I don't want to spoil it, but this one is basically, and they tell you in the trailer, there's a specific politician who's running for president, a female one. Sorry. And she's going.
I like that lady, by the way.
She's good. I wish I remember her name offhand, but
she's
I don't.
So pretty.
But anyway, but they used a purge to try to assassinate her because she's against the purge. She's a purge survivor, and she wants to shut it down.
Trying to shut it down.
So now you're getting to see what I loved about this film was now you're getting to see the abuse of power of the purge, of how the purge is no longer being used for what it was meant to be used for. Now it's being the abuse of the government and the power, saying we now can legally do what we want because we already set up this perfectly legal violent crime day.
Right.
Now where we differ on this movie is not the movie.
I gotta put my glasses on and get for real so we can have a real discussion.
We have had
about the Purge.
For the last, I think it's the first movie I think came out in 2013, I believe. Yeah. So anyway, so this argument has been going on off and on, and it varies slightly with each film because of the different commentaries. Our arguments are not on the film itself. We actually both love the Purge films. Yes, there's problems here and there. Yes, they're kind of cheesy. I actually think the second 2 installments are better than the first installment. Not just because Frank Grillo, but just because of where they take the stories are a little more depth to them. Our disagreement is on the actual Purge and if it could exist in society today.
I think it could. Okay, I agree that it would probably harm all of your poor people who wouldn't be able to afford protection. We would fortify the house.
What are we going to fortify?
We put up some metal and have some metal gates come down.
Have you ever fortified anything?
No, but you paid for that.
Who are we going to pay?
This is the thing.
This reverts us back to being the poor people.
This reverts back to Purge 1, where the guy made all the money selling security, Purge security
where
systems.
there were flaws in that they knew there were flaws in.
He didn't know that there were flaws in it.
He says, I rewatched the film.
He said it was only 90% effective.
Yeah, but he said we knew of the flaws. We sold them anyway.
Yeah, because they didn't expect anyone to come in and bombard and pull your doors off your house.
Here's where the problem lies.
Here's the thing.
No, hold on.
We're ninjas, first of all.
I'm a ninja. She's kind of more of a Beverly Hills ninja. But here's the problem with the Purge. The ideal of the Purge, I think, works.
I think it would work.
The problem is there's like anything else, too many people and variables of people abusing power. The Purge does not stop crime. Right? And
no, it doesn't stop crime. It was never its intention to stop crime.
No, I know it brings crime down. The problem is the Purge now creates new crime that would not have happened had the Purge not existed. Such as there's a scene in the movie where a lady shoots somebody, and it's a secondary. It's not a main point of the movie. It's one of the random purges you see in the background. But they talk about it where she shot somebody because she didn't like them, and now she feels bad. She would not have shot him. Stupid people. That's the problem. You have the government people, you have the money people, you have all the things that get involved that then take away from saying, let's make this the night that people can be, do whatever they want, get that aggression out. They can do all this stuff. And what's funny is the movies tell you that all crime is legal. Mm-hmm. But the only thing you see in all these movies, which is a perfect proving point, is murder.
Wasn't it in part 2 when they were walking by that bank, somebody was robbing the bank?
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
But if
I would rob the bank, and then there's like 2 people I want to kill.
But if you watch the films, when you
don't tell anybody.
when you see all these movies, you look in the background, all you see are different people killing other people.
Yeah, I know.
It's not. People just look at this time to do the most heinous crime. And it's proven in the Purge world that some of the people are doing it just because they wanted to see if they could.
Yeah.
They wanted to see what it felt like to shoot somebody or to torture somebody. Which, in a normal day, that person wouldn't have done that. Because they wouldn't have had that thought, because they were like, that's illegal. I'm not that person. I don't have the thought process to go kill anybody. But if you suddenly tell me I'm allowed to kill somebody, I could probably make a list. Mm-hmm. Right? So it sets up that tone of thought that you would never have, more crime. And this one shows a perfect example of a character who is going to commit a stupid little crime early in the film.
Right.
Doesn't go their way. So they use the Purge to get the revenge because they couldn't commit their crime before the Purge.
Well, the crime doesn't go away, babe. It just goes down.
I'm aware of that. That's why the Purge is almost pointless, because it's not fixing anything.
It is fixing things.
It doesn't fix anything. Making crime go down doesn't fix the problem.
Oh, fine. So, I don't think so. I think the Purge would work in real life. I would support the Purge. I'd have my blue flowers out on the lawn.
She'd be the first one dead in the Purge because she's pissed off a lot of people.
Oh my gosh. I would do it. Let's do the Purge. I already know where I would hide in the house. I already know how I would protect the house.
Where would you hide in the house?
I'm not going to tell y'all, because if the Purge happens, you're going to try to get into my house and find me.
I live here.
But we're going to be together.
I'm purging your ass.
That is rude. That is very, very rude. See, now I don't know if I should sleep with like a knife under my pillow.
You should.
That's just rude, babe. I love you, and I would protect you in the Purge.
No, you wouldn't. We were hiking up a mountain, and the bushes shook, and you said, "I'm out of here," and you ran.
I said, "Run, honey, run!"
And you left me to die.
And you didn't run, so
no.
I tried to help you.
You didn't. You ran away from me and left me to die.
I said, "Run."
How is telling me to run save me?
Whatever. I think the Purge would work in real life. I don't know if we're going to get there. We'll find out in the year 2022 when the first one takes place, if that's where we're going to get.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's going to be another. This Purge is very violent.
It's really good.
It is good if you enjoy the films, if you like the first two. And for anybody that doesn't know...
My favorite kill!
If anybody that... I don't remember if we've talked about this on the actual shows yet. Maybe in the first episode, but I don't remember.
I think we talked in the first episode.
She has a very big passion and love for seeing people be run over. And while we were watching the movie, there is a really awesome hit and run kind of scene. She cheered in the theater. The only person cheering.
Laughing and cheering. Like, yeah!
She got excited. And it wasn't because of who was getting hit or why.
I don't even care who got hit.
It was just because they got run over. And then she's giggling like a schoolgirl for the rest of the time. This noise is what you have to deal with it. So you'll know if you ever hear this obnoxious laugh.
That's somebody getting run over.
And somebody just got run over. You know that she's in the same theater with you.
I love it.
If you like the first two Purge movies, you'll like this one. I don't know. This one has a very kind of finality, whatever you want to call it, to it. They can still do plenty.
They can still do more. There's still more to do.
Well, and this one was originally, if I'm not mistaken, was supposed to be a prequel to show the very first Purge.
Well, they can go back and do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm hoping that, but when Frank Grillo said he would come back, they brought him back and said, hey, let's do it.
I would like to see, the prequel of how we got to the new Founding Fathers and that whole societal change, what caused that. And who thought the Purge would be a good idea? I'd like to see that. Yeah.
Well, and also for anybody that was wondering, because in the second film, Frank Grillo was that very tormented soul and was dealing with his own thing and whatever. And I don't want to tell you why in case you haven't seen it. I really, really like that this fact the character evolved past it and we're not dealing with that crap anymore.
Yeah.
You get like one line of like, we know what you did, and he understands and he tells him, look, I tried to do something in the Purge 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But we're not dealing with that crap anymore. We're back to just badass Frank Grillo doing his job.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
One weird thing, though, that I just thought about, that it kind of reminds me a little bit of Planet of the Apes. No, I know this is going on. Remember where we worshipped the mighty bomb? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's kind of where the Purge takes us a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of cultish nature.
It's very cultish. So, okay, in that aspect, I think you would have your little crazy Purge.
We'd have a lot of those because our whole world has dealt with that now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other aspect. We see it in every religion.
There's an awesome section of the film,
crazy people,
that it also starts showing how, and I never really thought about this when the first two movies, but this one actually talks about what other countries think about the Purge.
Yes, because this is only in the United States, by the way. This is
and I don't remember, and I guess I never paid that much attention to that. We're the annual Purge, because you just assume when things like this are happening, it's the world, and then it's brought to your attention in this film.
Yeah, so this one we see what other countries are thinking of us as
and
Americans,
how it can be an abuse of power, and how they also think we're stupid.
Well, I think they think we're stupid right now.
I know, but I'm saying that's what this used. They use that
our presidential campaign and everything that's happening.
They use that catalyst of the Purge to come in and show. That's actually a cool moment.
Very sad.
that has a good dialogue moment, and that has a good like violent moment that kind of brings all that together. That's actually I thought it was a clever little thing to
there's
inject.
a lot of different aspects and things going on in the movie that I think are very enjoyable, as well as just shooting people and killing.
But again, there is some cheesy dialogue. There's some stuff,
there's some blood and guts if you're not down with that.
I wasn't as impressed with the kills this time around. It was mostly shootouts. There are some cool badass moments, and
Part 2 was very creative.
A lot of the really cool kills are in the backgrounds of when you
have to pay attention.
Like there's a great one again I love when they're just running down the street and the lady's sitting at like the bus stop, and there's a guy burning in front of her. You assume that's like an abusive husband or something. You build your own story because there is no story.
There's no story.
She's just sitting there like singing, I believe.
She's singing
like a Christian hymn or something.
No, she was singing "Let Me Call You Sweetheart."
Oh,
I'm
that's
in
right.
love with you.
And this guy's laying in the ground burning. So you don't know, was this an abusive husband? Was this somebody she was obsessed with and she's crazy? You really don't know because...
See, I was going Farrah Fawcett burning bed.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know, and it creates...
But that's interesting.
It creates that stuff all around in the background. You see people getting beat up. You see people getting knifed. It has nothing to do with the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
It's happening as they are trying to go and do their thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff gives it a little more depth. So anyway, moving on to the Purge. I can guarantee you, if and when there's a Purge 4 of any kind, and we're still doing this and we talk about it, we will still be having the same Purge argument. Unless they do something to prove me right, because I'm always right and she's always wrong.
The Purge would work in real life.
All right, so our final...
You know what? I forgot Free State of Jones. I forgot one warning.
Oh, going back to Free State of Jones.
Sorry, the N-word.
Oh, yeah.
Just be aware. It's historical thing about slavery. It's gonna happen. Just be prepared. And sorry.
Yeah, and
I forgot to mention that.
Talking about that movie, there are some...
mention.
Free State of Jones is very graphic.
It is very, very...
Like, not sexually, but gory. Like, the opening 5 minutes in the Civil War moments is massively gross.
That one man that got killed... Yeah, oh my gosh, yes, I was not expecting that. Immediately, there are some shootings and cannons, and I'm like...
And they take you right in...
Because I was not expecting graphic violence right off the start. Like, within 2 minutes,
without telling you anything about it, imagine what you would think a Civil War hospital would look like. It goes right into a Civil War hospital, and whatever you think, it's worse.
It's horrible.
So anyway, but it was needed because it sets you the tone of what breaks men down during that kind of war.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out that people that fought during the Civil Wars and those are real men. I'm not taking away from the soldiers today because they're fighting smart now. But watching people, it still baffles me every time I see a group of soldiers walk straight forward to a line of cannons and everything, and you know darn well every one of you are going to get shot.
He's like right there. You see him,
and
you see him reload, and they're fighting to like reload their gun as fast as they can, and the guy's like 10 feet away from you.
That amazes me every time I see it. Again, it's not to take away from our soldiers now and the way they fight,
because now
that's smarter fighting. That makes sense.
Keep them safer.
But that just the thought process of what you had to go through your brain, knowing
were fighting
that
our own people and the.
Well, I'm not even talking about just that. I'm talking about in the French Revolutions and all those things. They all fought that same way. So anyway, we didn't need to go back. I would say we would edit this back to like an interview, but we're not going to. So.
We can't. It's live.
All right, so our final film. Hold on.
So
we saved this movie for last because it has Independence Day in the title. This was basically kind of her Star Wars, where like I'm the major Star Wars nerd. She is in love with the first Independence Day movie. I loved it back in the day. I'm still a fan, but she wants to watch it all the time. So obviously she was very excited when she found out they made Independence Day Resurgence that they've talked about for years, and we never thought it was going to happen. But it's now here.
It's here! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited!
And if anybody didn't know, it got horrible, horrible reviews.
Aww,
and this is in fact another movie we were going to disagree upon on some levels and not on others. But anyway,
you know nothing.
She has to bring.
It's the alien.
Now you know how much she loves this movie. Anything.
She keeps it here.
That's right. So for anybody that doesn't know, there's not a lot of.
You lived in a hole and missed Independence Day, the first part.
It's aliens attack.
These aliens come and attack the Earth.
And Randy Quaid and Will Smith saved our lives. And Harry Connick Jr.
He was
the new movie
singing and shooting.
The new movie jumps 20 years later, which is the amount of time since the original came out.
Which, by the way, wow, when did that happen?
20 years ago.
And then, do you have the video? There's the special release edition. Please hold.
Anyway, I'll set you up. So basically, the world has taken what happened back then, and you see from the trailer some of the technology, and they've now fortified the Earth planning in case another invasion ever
The
happens.
special 20th anniversary edition double disc thing. So
Of the first
check that
movie.
out.
Don't be the guy at the video store asking for the new movie at the theater. That's not at the box office.
That's something your daddy would do.
But basically the story is they come back. That's the easiest description.
They always come back.
So, is he just going to sit there?
He's going to sit here and watch.
Okay. Obviously, for anybody that was wondering, if you don't already know, no, Will Smith is not in the new movie. There's a picture of Will Smith in the movie.
Yeah, that was kind of cheese.
He gets a throwaway line of why he's not in the movie, which, I mean, it's an easy way out. It was kind of bummer.
Was he busy doing something else or what?
No, I think he's just Will Smith now.
Oh, he's too good.
I don't even know that. I don't even know any of the story of it. One of the things I heard, it was a budget thing. Like they couldn't match what his scale is now. But
That's
anyway,
true. It's 20 years ago.
I'll let you talk about it first. I'm gonna let her talk because she has such love for the series. This is her happiness. So I'm gonna let her talk first.
I loved it. Loved it. The bad thing is it's basically aliens attacking Earth. We've seen it obviously in Independence Day, the first one.
And they're drinking tea and they go in the house.
And then, there's always other critters attacking Earth, such as this guy, which, by the way, best alien race ever. We'll get to that. So, I mean, it's more of the same thing. So that's kind of the downside. If you're looking for something magical and unique, this is not going to be it. But I feel like I love the first one so much, I was automatically going to love the second one, and I loved the second one. I liked the aliens. I liked the, trying to fight technology, trying to become smarter than them, all of those things. So I really liked it. I'm okay if Will Smith wasn't there. It's fine.
That was not a problem for me.
It's not a problem. But the good thing is all of our other main cast from...
Tell me who these cast members are.
From the first one is back. So, The Fly, Jeff Goldblum from the first one is back.
Ignore Jurassic Park or anything else he's ever done. Let's just go back.
I'm not a dinosaur person.
He's in the first two, I believe.
Whatever. His dad, Mr. Hirsch, is
Who was in Altered Minds we just talked about when we talked about
that last
episode.
week. So he's really good. The president's still there.
Hold on, back up. Who is it?
The president from the first movie. He's in this movie.
What's his name?
Mr. President.
Okay.
He's there.
His name is Bill Pullman.
Okay, the general's there. Data's back. Data from the first movie is now in the second movie.
Who you think is dead from the first movie? He died, or we thought he died.
Did we? Oh, did we spoil it?
No, he's in the trailers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it works. That was one of the things in the trailers
really
I was concerned, Mike, because in the original movie, he's in the remember the room, and they remember it wraps around his hand, slaves against the wall, and he's talking,
and he's like,
and then we assume he's dead, and I'm not going to tell you what they do.
It makes sense. It all makes sense. So everyone's back. Obviously, what we saw in the trailer.
Vivica Fox is back.
Vivica Fox is back, which is fine.
No.
I don't understand it. When you see the movie, it's a leap to what she's doing now from being.
It's not a leap because in the first movie, she's a doctor in this movie, and I believe in the original movie she was going to school. That's 20 years. She has time to become a doctor.
Okay, then fine. I'll let her have it.
Now the problem is believing Vivica Fox as a doctor.
She was a little bit.
She's gotten super ghetto lately.
Yeah, she's very.
Back in the day when she was in the first one, she was very like, hey, even as a stripper, she was polite and nice. And everything you see her now, she's like, girl.
Well, that's the kind of doctor she is. So everyone's there. We saw in the trailer that we've taken the alien technology from the ships that crashed. We've kind of used it for our own purposes. So now, how do we fight the new ships that are coming? So that's kind of where we are in the movie, and
there's something else that happens too that sets up a lot of the other stuff. So we can't tell you because I don't want to spoil it. It's a fun popcorn movie. I mean, I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again. Probably not go to the theater again, but I would watch it. And buy it for your collection because I know we're going to have to own it.
Yes.
But all the new cast I thought were horrible.
Really?
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth is fine, but he just doesn't do anything. My biggest issue, and I don't remember the new girl's name. The president's daughter character, who was played by Mae Whitman, I believe is her name, in the original, who's gone on to be in Parenthood. She was in The Duff.
The Duff.
She's a great actress, and
She's
cute. She's great. She could have easily done this role and been amazing at it. And instead, they brought this other girl in for whatever reason.
They brought you the little blonde thing.
I heard, and again, I'm going by speculation because I don't know this for sure. I had heard that it was because the filmmakers wanted somebody that they thought was more attractive, and I don't know if that's true.
I don't think that's right, though. That would make me really
because
angry.
I know that one of her friends came out apparently and was attacking them about them doing that. But again, I don't know if that's for sure.
Just because she was in The Duff doesn't mean she is a Duff.
Right, but anyway,
she's a cute.
The new girl is awful.
She's okay.
She's not okay.
She's there to be the blonde love lady.
But she's supposed to. You're supposed to buy into her being an action person at some point, and she's not. She can't run. She almost runs like Steven Seagal from Above the Law, but worse with her arms. I don't remember the kid named the guy that's playing that's supposed to be the kid of Will Smith in the original movie Grown Up. Mm-hmm. He was fine, but he serves no point other than to be like, look, that's Will Smith's kid. You know, beyond that, he has no point. The original cast is great. Mm-hmm. Jeff Goldblum's always good and everything. That would be the Fly, in case you didn't know.
In case y'all don't know.
He's good in everything. He's still very quirky. You know, I love his little weird stutter thing that he does. He always does this with his hands. You know, it's just weird nuances. Judd Hirsch is good in it. He's not as good as he is in the original. And it's because they
not as much time.
It's because in the original, his comedy was just his mannerisms and him. This one, they made him comedy relief.
Yeah,
you know.
Like that.
But it was fine because it was like, how are she going to work this old man back into the movie? Bill Pullman was really good because he had some cool layers to the character and what he had to do.
There was a lot happening,
and it made sense to what had happened to him in the first film and kind of how that evolved now. Brent Spiner, poor guy. The guy's a batshit crazy in the movie, but he was in the first movie too.
Yeah.
And he's great at playing crazy, but the guy is not a very good actor. He can play Data with no emotions, and he can play crazy people. Anything in between, it's just like...
Aw, poor thing, I like
But anyway, he's good in the movie, and it works. My problem is just there's a lot of really bad, cheesy dialogue. The story's predictable. It is fun, but you're so jaded. I've seen this 1,000 times vibe.
Because it is aliens attacking the planet.
Yeah, when the first one came out, it was kind of blew you away figuratively and literally because you hadn't seen something like that. That scene when the ship blows up the White House was like the iconic moment of that movie because it hit it pauses for a few minutes and the White House explodes and you're like, what, can they do that?
They can do that.
And it's even self-aware that it knows it's ridiculous because there's a Jeff Goldblum line, and I believe they even show it in the trailer too, where he's like, they always go for the landmarks because they're going to blow up stuff. Mm-hmm. And they always blow up other countries' important places first.
Yeah.
I think in this one it was like China and London, like every other apocalyptic movie. They blow up other countries first because for some reason the aliens only kill the other countries while they let the Americans figure out how to save everybody. And then when you get to the action and stuff, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's the same crap you've seen over and over and over. And they had this whole aspect of how they brought in these younger versions of the characters. That was a good idea, but it was horribly, kind of boringly executed. And I will give them credit. I love that they did take the alien aspect to the next level.
Yeah. In
a very big way, which is the only way I'm going to put it. But when you see the movie, you'll see why I say it like that. They do a lot of new things. The problem, biggest problem with this movie, by the end of it, is they had a plan to do another movie.
Oh.
It's been wide known that Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin or whatever, they've already been talking about, we want to take it into space if we get to make the next one. Which is awesome, because you get to see more of the aliens and more fun if you're big into the movie. Problem is, the movie ends kind of on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It is and it isn't. But if they never make it, you're going to be irritated, because you're going to be like, well, what would have happened? Yeah. You know? And the way the box office is going for this movie, I don't know if it's going to happen. Because the movie's not been doing well.
I don't know, man. I mean, I loved it.
The effects are great. There's some great action.
Yeah, the aliens are good.
You just got to turn your brain off, go watch it for what it is, and you're going to either like it or you're going to hate it. You know, it's.
I love it.
There's not a lot of in between. If you're a really hardcore fan of the original, you'll probably enjoy it on some level, but you'll have some issues. Or you'll love it like this one, who has no filter, and it's just, she thinks it's the most amazing thing ever. But then the other side of it, if you're not really a big fan of the first one, you're going to hate this one. There's not really any, in between on that.
Okay. Well, there goes the aliens. Okay, bye-bye.
So, anyway, so that's the 5 movies that we were going to talk about today. Before we kind of end the show, I know we went longer today, which was planned.
Yes. I shall remove our flag. We have now finished. We have now concluded our Independence Day movies.
Before we take off, a couple of things. First, as I promised, we were going to go through just a couple of quick things that are coming out this week on Blu-ray and DVD.
What's coming out
this
on
isn't, just so you know, this isn't everything. This is stuff I have and stuff I remember. First, we have Code of Honor, starring Steven Seagal, which I guarantee maybe one of you will want to see besides me.
Well, you watch all of his movies.
A lot of these.
He is a faithful Steven Seagal fan.
But I do want to say that most of them are still crap.
You.
But I'll watch them. We have an Asian film. I don't know which country this particular one from. It might be Korean, but I don't know. It's Chronicles of the Ghostly Tribe, which is like a supernatural fantasy action ish. We have Shout Factory.
Shout!
This happens every time something shows up. A movie called The Pack, which I believe is about some like crazed dogs or something. And then we have a remake of Eli Roth's Cabin Fever, which most people be like, oh, another remake. Eli Roth actually produced it, and wrote the script for the remake.
Oh, okay.
This was his first film. He had a different vision. He wanted to go. I haven't watched any of these yet, so I'm not going to tell you anything about them because I can't. But so this one's one of those remakes to me that deserves a chance if you're a fan of the original because the original creator is involved.
Okay, that's good.
Also, we talked about this one at the airport. The Family Fang comes out this week on DVD.
Go see it. It's actually really, really good.
Also, a movie that came out this past week, maybe a little harder to find, but anybody that might be a fan, a documentary. If you know who Ray Harryhausen is, I'm sure you don't have any idea who that is. There's a documentary called Ray Harryhausen Special Effects Titan. It's all about his career and his work. For anybody that doesn't know who that is, he's the guy that's basically, you'll know Clash of the Titans. He's the guy
Clash of the Titans.
He's the guy that made the Medusas and made the Krakens and the stop motion animations of that time frame. But it goes back and it talks about his life and his career and what he made, how he made the people, and how those models have still held up 50 years later today comparative to stuff back in the other days. So those are just a few of the things that I know are coming out. There's obviously always others. The biggest news we have, outside of obviously the 4th episode of our show, we also now, most of you already know, we have a Facebook page, because hopefully you're watching
us on Facebook.
For our Hollywood Matrimony, but that's not all. We are also we just launched a brand new website at www.hollywoodmatrimony.com.
Hollywood Matrimony.
And it's already populated with numerous movie reviews, both theatrical, Blu-ray, DVD. We're going to be, over the coming weeks, there'll be some interviews posted, there'll be some contests posted, there'll be just various movie news and things like that posted. So go check it out, follow it. That's going to probably be, I can't make any official announcement yet, but the plan, you can't see it for crap.
You can't see it because of the glare. Hollywood Matrimony.
Go check out the website, tell your friends, help sharing it, because if everything goes as planned, I'm going to eventually stop writing for the Examiner and move over, and hopefully we can host our own site. And it's not going to just be me writing reviews. Every so often, this young lady's going to write reviews. We may bring in some other people that have thoughts on things, books, comic books, video games, all kinds of things in the future. But the whole Hollywood Matrimony thing, we decided to launch it as a full official thing outside our live podcast or Facebook Live thing. Because not only is it about a married couple who loves movies together, it's also about my individual just passion and love for films anyway, so the name works for everything.
Yes, it does.
So there'll be constantly stuff. It's not a site to say, hey, check it out once a week. I will be posting stuff on there probably every single day.
Yes.
Of some sort. So be sure to check it out. And I guess that's all for the moment.
Okay. Think that's it. So.
Hopefully next week I'll have some giveaway options. I believe I'm going to be hosting a giveaway for the Martial Arts Kid DVDs.
Okay.
Also, iZombie, the complete second season.
Love that show.
And maybe a couple of others. I believe I have Workaholic Season 6. So if there's any of these things that you're interested in, if you are interested right now, you can actually go ahead and enter to win a copy of iZombie's complete second season. All you have to do is send us a private message, not post it live. Send a private message. And the contest, I posted it on Examiner. You can still go later, but if you send us a private message on it, they can message to our page, right?
Yes, you can send us messages.
If you send us a message, all you have to do to be entered is send me your perfect recipe for brains. So if you've ever seen the show,
yeah.
if you've ever seen the show, she eats brains. She's a zombie. And she always, every episode, she makes them a different fancy way so she can eat them. You send me how you would prepare them, and then you'll be put in a drawing to win a copy of the complete second season of iZombie.
That's kind of cool, babe. That's very creative of you.
Thank you very much. I do this for a living.
Good job, baby.
Anyway.
All right. I think that's the show for today. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Be safe. Take care of your animals. They get scared on this holiday.
Yes.
Please.
And now I've got tons of crap to clean up because this lady got too much crap out for props. Next week, it's going to be a little bit different show as well. Be back to our normal time. I believe the only new film coming out next week, to my knowledge, or no, there's 2 films coming out next week. Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, which I have already seen, so we'll talk about. She didn't get to see it, so it'll be
but it's going to be a special show for my birthday.
Well, hold on. Wait till I tell you what else is coming out.
Oh.
Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, which I've already seen to talk about. There's a great independent film with Viggo Mortensen called Captain Fantastic that I believe opens in limited release. And the big release next week, I believe, is The Secret Life of Pets, which I know that she's super excited to see. It's an animated film. So we'll be talking about those films and probably some of the DVD stuff. I may even talk about a few of the ones that I just showed you today if they're really bad or really good.
Well, and for my special birthday thing, because my birthday is next week. So, what I want to do, though, too, is talk about some of my favorite movies of all time. So, he's going to tell you it's going to be a crap list of movies.
It will be.
But it's not. I'm going to give you some of my top favorites that you can watch with me next week during my birthday week. And it'll be
Part 1's already done.
Fun. Independence Day, I watch that every 4th of July, and anytime I catch it on TV.
Being her birthday week, if she wants, then we may actually just reformat the show altogether and just let her do whatever.
No,
it is a married thing,
and
and she's in charge.
That is true. That's how life should be. All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for watching.
Peace and love. Be safe.
Bye. Be safe.
Invite us to your barbecue.